Hello and welcome to AFK Sidequest. I'm your host, Rob Thursland, and joining me today we have Matthew, Means of Production, Penrose, and Manufacturing, Maddy Cunningham. So Penrose, what have you brought for us today?
Today I've brought with us Rusty Industries. So we've got one of those special copies early sent out so we could actually give it a go.
Cool.
Good.
So the main 3 points of the game are to buy and upgrade factories. With those factories, you'll produce and also manufacture, so you can turn resources between 2 different states. And then with those resources, you'll fulfill contracts, export them, and also trade with other players.
That sounds pretty simple.
So how do we actually win the game?
You build points at the very end. There's a couple different ways you can build points. If you've exported goods, depending on what you've exported, you'll get little crates. They're worth 1 point each.
Cool.
Contracts. Every contract you fulfilled, they're worth 1 point each. There are variations in colours, so if you get like a set of colours or like all 4 colours, you get bonus points and things like that. And if you've traded goods with other players, for every 3 or so that you've traded, you gain a point. But also, if you've bought from what's referred to as the Crown or the Monopoly Bank, you lose a point for every single one. So you need to be careful. Yeah.
Ah, okay, so there's...
That sounds...
So you said that you buy and you build and you upgrade your factories. Do they all cost the same? Are they all kind of the same kind of thing? Are they limited?
There's variations on the factories. There's 2 different places where you can buy them. There's the ones that are available to everyone, and then there's specialist ones which refresh every turn.
Okay.
Every factory will have a monetary cost and also a resource cost to them as well. So you can't just go, I want the machinery factory because it's the best. Because there's a lot of stuff that you will need to get it. So you have to start off with the basics: wood, clay, and iron. And then from there you can build the more expensive factories and get the better, in essence, resources.
So the resources you get, they are also used for upgrading and building things as well as creating, presumably, points.
Yes.
Okay.
So is there a set amount of resources?
There are a set number of resources. So the core 3, which is wood, iron, and clay, there's 15 in total. And then for the other 4, machinery, sulfur, food, and bricks, there's a total of 10.
Doesn't sound like a lot.
Doesn't sound like a lot, but the thing is, it will change hands very, very quickly. It also means that you can build a monopoly. If there's none in the pool for you to produce from,
Then you can't take them, can you?
exactly. So you would have to, well, someone would be holding on to them somewhere. Maybe
then
it's
they
in their
can
warehouse and you can buy them.
Have extortionate prices on their monopoly of iron.
Yes, that's something that they could do.
Oh, good. Okay. Sounds fun.
All right, so we're going to go and give this game a try. Bear with us. We'll be right back in a couple of moments to tell you exactly what we thought. And we're back in the room. Maddy, what did you think?
That was a pretty fun game, actually. I like being forced to trade with people because the resources do run out quite quickly.
Yes.
So actually having to interact with people, especially because I had all the iron.
Yeah, I too like interacting with people.
I like selling you my iron. I was selling it for a pretty decent price.
Yeah, I think we all actually were very, very reasonable with each other.
I think because once you start playing, you realise that the game everyone can collapse if you do try and dick too much. Because people will just stop talking to you and stop interacting with you.
What's this? You desperately need my goods? Oh, but you were a dick 3 turns ago. No, no, no.
The contracts were fun to fulfil and they were quite varied. I wish maybe some of them were worth more points if they were more difficult.
Yeah.
Some of them were really easy to do and they were just worth 1 victory point. I liked having the changing factory bit. So you have to actually try and time where things will be on your turn, and then always screwing it up and not knowing what you're gonna get. But it was a good game. I enjoyed it.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, even if I was shafted multiple times. The constant shifting economy with what contracts were available, what advanced factories are available, and with the basic ones, you know, I dived into those early. I had a nice spread on those, but it meant I could only do the simple stuff. So later on, where I want to actually make stuff.
But you taking the simple stuff meant it was more expensive for us to take it when we needed it.
Yeah, because as we found out with each of the basic factories you buy, the next one is more expensive.
Yes.
So while I had like 2 of every single thing, and I produced so much that I couldn't fit it in my warehouse, no one else could buy anything. And I was like, yes!
So it was a really, really delicate balance, really, of making sure you weren't trying to make too much in one turn. Like, it became a little bit stressful at times. I was like, okay, this comes in, but I can immediately put it there, so it's not bad. Wait, no, I've counted wrong. This can't go anywhere. What am I going to do?
I wasted a turn.
Yeah.
I did really like the ideas of actually having 4 characters.
Yeah.
So it's not just 4 basic players, because every character is unique. It would change your play style a little bit. I think that they might need to be addressed a little bit. There's a
The one I got was very good. The one where for each resource you get a coin.
Yeah, the one that I think is the most disadvantaged is every basic factory you buy costs 5 more, but it produces 1 more, or every factory produces 1 more resource.
Yeah.
So your start off is really slow. There's only like 1 thing you can actually afford, and if you're going late, it's almost impossible to get it.
It's the only one, as far as I'm aware, that has a downside and a positive.
Yeah.
Like mine, I could just literally exchange 1 material every turn for a sulfur or food, and it was just really, really simple. There's like nothing wrong with this at all.
Especially because 4 of those make a victory point.
Exactly.
The point scoring I thought was really, really good, nice and flexible. I can understand your comment about wanting some of the contracts with a little bit more variety. I mean, there was a couple of contracts. I think one of them was just like, pay 19 coins, get a contract. Another one's like, pay 15 coins, get a contract. So, and then even with the resources, they're quite flexible. But I really liked them. They didn't come into play at all until near the end of the game.
When everyone remembered them.
It was not just everyone remembered them, people could achieve them.
Yeah.
Some of the ones that require machinery take so long to get to.
That was one of my issues, that it takes so long to build up to get some of the more advanced components where you can start buying the advanced factories.
Yeah.
And by the time that you can buy some of them, they're disappeared forever.
Yes.
And then it'll be, oh, there's 4 cards left, 2 turns left.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing with the factories. I liked, you had the 5 advanced factories that you could buy. The basic one, cheap, then it gets more expensive, but everything shifts across one every turn. So you're just like, I want that workshop. Oh, it's going to cost me 20. If I don't buy it, it's never going to be there again.
Yeah.
What do I do?
I wasn't very fond of that, I don't think. Like, it just, everything felt like it was progressing a bit too quickly.
I wouldn't have minded if it maybe cycled the deck.
Yeah.
But we did run out of cards that would be renewed.
Yeah, and it's kind of like one of those things where the first few turns, there is no way anybody's going to be buying any of those factories. So it's kind of just watching cards literally go away for the sake of going away.
Yeah, there are, I mean, with the advanced factories, there are duplicates in there for that reason. I can understand where you're coming from, but the issue is if you were to recycle the deck, everyone would have 20 factories. It's like, I'm producing 7,000 goods. There's literally no space for anything.
Well, you say that you wouldn't, because there's still a limit to how much you can actually have on the board. Like, your own storehouse is pretty limited.
Yeah, but it means that you could just look at what contracts are available and just go, well, I can produce everything. I'm just going to do this, that, and the other for these 3 contracts. That's them off the board. If everyone had every single type of factory available by refreshing that deck, it's going to become even more clunky. So I like that refresh. It does make you think. It makes you take risks as well, because like if there is that workshop there that would cost 20, I'd have to really look at like what do I actually need to keep.
I do think it took us a little while just to kind of figure out what was supposed to be happening and when. Like,
and figure out our priorities.
Yeah, going slightly back to the kind of the rotating factories. Like a big part of that was that every single player's turn, that scoots along one.
Yeah.
And there was some real confusion on our part as to whether that was supposed to be every full player round or not. I'm still not 100% sure that we got that ruling right. And I don't think it was very explicit.
It does make it a bit difficult to plan ahead for the factories.
Yeah, I mean, a simple revision for all that could be is to take out the duplicates of the factories and only have it refresh once every player's done.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to have it refresh, because if it was the 3 of us playing it, Rob goes first. When it goes back to Rob, it refreshes. That means he's got first choice on the next factory. I'm not sure if that's particularly fair, so it'd have to maybe do every other player or every 4 maybe. So it refreshes different to
They could just say like 1 above player count.
Maybe. But then you'd need to really remember that. That's the thing.
I liked the designs on it, but like bearing in mind we had a very, very early copy, like nowhere near the finished products. Obviously we had kind of placeholder tiles and dice. For the actual art they put in for the cards and for the board itself,
Yeah, the character cards are really nicely made.
Yeah.
I wish they had an extra little board for the contracts.
Okay.
They were just on the table. It'd be nice if they had, because they had the supplementary one for...
The supplementary one for
the
like your
factories.
warehouse. Oh yeah, the factories and things like that, and also your export tiles as
If
well.
they had another little matching one.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, like, especially when there's everything that goes in specific places, it's always nice when a board has already taken that into account, places for everything to go.
So I have had a look at what is going to be the final copy, and some of the pieces, they look amazing. They're really, really nice and simple, and they work really well with the game. So
Okay,
I'm
good.
really excited for that.
It was actually a lot longer to play than we thought it was going to be originally.
Yes, the recommended playtime is 60 to 90 minutes.
I don't think we were anywhere near. I think we well exceeded 90 minutes.
Yeah, so when we first played it, I think we hit 2.5 hours. And that was
we weren't messing about really. We were doing it relatively efficiently.
The longer the game goes on, the longer your turns take at the very end. So you think at the beginning, oh yeah, this could easily be 60 to 90 minutes. And then at the very end, when every turn is 5 minutes long, and you've got to go around the board, that takes 20 minutes. I guess if you had less players, you wouldn't have to worry about that so much.
Maybe 3 players.
Yeah, I mean, you can play it with 2 to 4 players, is what it looks like.
Okay.
So it's capped at 4, which is actually kind of unusual in this day and age. You're kind of used to seeing games usually go up to 6.
I wouldn't want to play it with more than 4.
Oh no, definitely not. Like, it took us 2.5 hours in one game. I do not want to think how long it would take with 5 or 6. So if we wanted to go out and buy or back Rusty Industries, I think you said this is an early edition that we've got here. How would I do it? How much would it cost me?
So Rusty Industries is currently on Kickstarter, and to get a copy, if you back it for £29, they will send you a copy.
Good.
Yeah, 29 quid for a board game.
For a full-size board game with lots of pieces.
Yeah, full-size board game, lots of pieces. It is currently going up until the 22nd of May, so that does end quite soon.
And who would you say this game would really be for?
Well, it recommends for anyone 10 plus, so ages 10 and up, which I think is fine.
If I were playing with somebody around that age range, I would expect another older player to be having to make sure they were doing everything right.
Yeah.
Like, it was complicated and taking time for us as grown adults.
I don't think the average 10-year-old could keep track of that by themselves.
Yeah.
There's also, you got the playtime as well.
Yeah.
And we're hitting 2.5 hours really easily. Maybe we're just bad at it.
Maybe if we played it a few more times, we'd get it closer.
Yeah,
to
if we're bad, kids are going to be worse.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure some kids would enjoy it, but you might want to consider that the playtime might go up with kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think for me personally, it would probably be like 13, 14 plus.
Yeah.
A little bit of a better grasp on some of the mechanics of it.
And it's one of those things where if you like production games like this, then you can't really go wrong with Rusty Industries. It does it. There are some games which do some of the mechanics a little bit better, but it's by no means bad at what it tries to do. Yeah. Like it's for the most part pretty easy to pick up when you get used to the long time on turns. And I think if you are looking for another game like it, then Rusty Industries is a pretty good shout, really.
Yeah, it was fun.
Happy to play it again. Play for a 3rd time. Try not to lose so horribly this time.
Third time's the charm. You'll get there, I'm sure. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of AFK Sidequest. If you have, then please make sure to like, share and subscribe. Click the notification bell. You'll see more highly produced content from us in the very near future. If you want to back Rusty Industries, then just follow the link in the description below. It'll take you straight to their Kickstarter, which ends on the 22nd of May. For just £29, you too can own a copy of Rusty Industries. I've been Rob Fursland. Thank you for joining me.